twisted world of sports, where the game's just a backdrop for drunken retorts. Rugby league or union, it's all fair play, but it's the banter that steals the show. Hey, 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 hey. Ahoy, we're here to make some noise. It's all about the laughs, the fun, and the joys. Join us in our world, where the banter is prime. Wasted world of sports, we're having a good time. They're all well and good, but we're here for the jokes and 10 pants less from the kickoff to the final whistle blow. We'll take the 2 and we're ready to go. Ahoy, we're here to make some noise. It's all about the laughs, the fun, and the joys. Join us in our world, where the banter is prime. Wasted world of sports, we're having a good time. We break down the plays, but it's all in jest. With a laugh and a cheer, we bring out our best. No serious analysis, no expert critiques, just a bunch of mates sharing plenty of drinks. We'll raise a roll, from sideline jokes to post-match tales. All big goofs and their big fails. We're not so serious, and that's our style. With each ahoy, we raise our skies. Ahoy, ahoy, we're here to make some noise. It's all about the laughs, the fun, and the joys. Join us in our world, where the banter is prime. Wasted world of sports, we're having a good time. So come along and join us.
World of sports, eh?
Oh, he's copped a head right to the nuts. Tedesco's butt crack.
Ahoy!
He's nearly taken security's head off.
I have no idea what the wasted world of sports is.
You know what? One of these days I'm going to remember up here in this thick skull of mine. It always helps if you have the microphone turned on. Gamer Mel, ahoy there. XJC, ahoy. Early birds, like myself this morning. I tell you what, I'm full of life today, and I don't understand why, because we've had a big couple of nights here on the Wasted World of Sports. Of course, we've had the Spoon Bowl. We've had the Broncos versus the Storm. Ending, well, not ending the season for the Storm, but ending the season for the Broncos, more than officially. And now we're backing it up today with a triple header. Now, I was undecided on this game because it is a little bit of the Who Cares Cup, but I did want to jump on here to cover this game, specifically because I want to give credit where credit is due, and that is to what Ricky Stuart has done with this extremely young and rebuilding Raiders team. Honestly, everything, every single metric on paper suggested that this would be an extremely rough year for the Raiders. It's a clear rebuild, and for them to have got through this season in the position where they are, still, you wouldn't call it a success, but I certainly would not call the season a failure. So what Ricky has managed to do in uncovering some exceptional young talents, Ethan Strange, Xavier Savage are starting to come into his own. Kaeo Weekes. I think there's some happy days ahead for Ricky's Green Goblins. And definitely, he has done extremely well with what he's had available to him this season. Now, another coach that also deserves a lot of credit for what's happened this year is the Dragons. Because when you think about it, this game, a lot of people had the Dragons finishing on the wooden spoon. I made a bold prediction at the start of the season, just based on paper and the metrics available at the time, that the Raiders were a smoky for the wooden spoon. And the bookmakers certainly agreed. They had the they had the Dragons as one of the favourites for the Spoon and the Raiders finishing in the bottom 3. And both sides came within the hair of a bee's nut of actually being a top 8 threat. And so you've got to give credit to the coaches, the players as well, of course. The players are the ones that go out there and either perform or don't perform, as the case may be. But ultimately, you've got to give credit to the coaches there, especially Flano. Shane Flanagan obviously is somebody that I admire greatly because he has brought my team their only premiership in history, and now he's over there doing wonders with the St. George Illawarra Dragons. And Ricky Stuart's got a proven track record. He's had a lean period, but we know that he is more than capable as a coach. In terms of my multi for this one, I've labelled this game the Who Cares Cup. The reason being not that we don't care about the match. We're not going to enjoy the match or anything like that. This game literally has 0 ramifications. It doesn't matter who wins, who loses. The only possible thing that will make this a live game is if, I believe, I'm correct when I say this, is if the Dragons win quite comprehensively as well, because their for and against is not that great. So the Dragons have to win quite substantially to improve their for and against, and the Dolphins and the Knights, when they play tomorrow, would have to then tie the game. Nobody could win. It would have to be a draw. And that, I believe, is the only way that the Dragons can possibly leapfrog up into the top 8. But, of course, what are the chances of that happening? Very, very slim. Now, my multi, XJC. Zach Lomax, Xavier Savage, Hudson Young comboed with Jaden Sewer. So for those who are new to the game, or to the sports betting game, I mean, Young/Sewer in an A or B combo there means either one of them can score a try, and I'm still successful in that particular leg. And I've also linked up Ben Hunt and Tyrrell Sloan in a combo. So that's my 4 legs on this one. It's not a massive payout because of the combo players that I've slapped in there. But it was a very hard one to call, this game, in terms of, well, a hard one to tip in terms of who's going to win. I think that the Dragons will be absolutely seething. They will be filthy that they have lost their realistic chance of making the top 8. Fate was in their own hands. All they had to do was win the other week, and they came out and they absolutely put in a disgraceful performance, and they got beaten. They'll be filthy. They'll be so dirty on themselves, and I'm looking for a Dragons rebound today. That is purely the only reason why I have backed the Dragons with any confidence today. I think Flano will have given them the G up, and they'll come out and know exactly what they have to do, and I do think that they probably do smoke the Raiders today. But I've said that a lot throughout the course of this year. I've expected the Raiders to get smoked pretty relentlessly all year long, and sons of bitches, they've just found a way. A very, very tough defensive unit. Ricky, as I said at the top of the stream, has done wonders with these kids, and he just seems to be able to get them up. So tries will probably be hard to come by here for the Dragons, especially the amount of tries that they need. Fogarty is back. That's important for the Raiders. Jamal Fogarty is probably proven to be one of the best general play kickers of the season. I wouldn't say the best all-round 7. He doesn't really offer anything but his kicking game, but a kicking game is so crucial. We're finding that out week in, week out. I mean, Jerome Hughes and Nathan Cleary, obviously for mine, the better all-round number 7s. But you certainly can't discredit Jamal Fogarty for what he's done this year with his boot. Vincent Spears Music, ahoy mate. How are you doing? Jeez, the chat room's full of Sharkies. Is it a Shark supporters thing that we just happen to be up earlier than everybody else? Apart from Game ML, of course. Game ML's up bright and early. Or is it just that, as I said, this game has absolutely no ramifications on the top 8. Neither side can realistically make it. Now, the Dragons have to put on a big performance and hope that there's no result in the Knights-Dolphins game tomorrow. So maybe that's it. Maybe maybe it's Sharks and Storm supporters. We've just got much more to be happier about at the moment. Both our sides making the 8. And in the Melbourne Storm's case, comprehensively making the 8 at that. Now, what's happening here? Try and get the game sorted out on Discord. I see what happened. I clicked on the wrong thing. Teams getting ready to come out onto the field for this one, which I have very affectionately labelled the Who Cares Cup. But we're going to do our best to bring all the action here, regardless. Despite the fact... See, I mean, my thoughts on the Raiders aside, I'm certainly hoping for a win, a big win for the Dragons, just because of that very, very unlikely scenario that could happen. It actually gives us something to keep an eye on in the Knights-Dolphins game. Apart from the obvious Knights-Dolphins, whoever wins that will take the 8th spot. Wolfie, ahoy there, mate. Yes, we'll be doing the other 2 games today. Spinner Shark, ahoy. More Sharks in the chat room. Love it. As the Dragons are out onto the field now, the home side. Zach Lomax there, one of my multi-tips. A couple of combos in my multi today, which brings the price down. The potential payout comes right down, but obviously you increase your chances of a hit. The Bulldogs-Cowboys game, we'll need to have a close look at that one and see if there's any implications for the top 8 in that one. Absolutely nothing on the line, really. Oh, well, there you go. Vincent Spears music. Talk to the girl and a reaction. The reaction usually tells the story, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know what the conversation was as this game kicks off. Dragons, Raiders. I obviously don't know the scenario in and out or the specific conversation, but people's reactions do often give away their intent. Luke is. Ahoy there, mate. Happy day. And it's the Dragons with first juice. A big run there from Francis Molo. And they come out of this looking very determined, the Dragons. And this is what I was talking about. They would have had the rev up from Flano. I know Coach Flanagan quite well. As I said, he is the only coach to have taken my team to a premiership. And he will have given them an absolute hiding throughout the course of the week, rest assured. And that is a quality first set of 6. The ball's in the hands of Lomax. Lomax offloads to Eisenhuth, and Eisenhuth scores inside the first minute. Oh, what did I tell you? Shane Flanagan will have given them the revving up of all rev-ups. And they have just exploded out of the gate here, and they've scored in their very first set of 6. On the back of a little piece of Zachary Lomax magic. Now, are they all onside is the key. If they're onside, it's a dream start, and they are well onside. Lomax wins the battle in the air, gets the offload away, and Eisenhuth, geez, he must have been paying a mint for first try scorer. The try is confirmed, and it is a dream start for the Dragons. But as we've seen from this Raiders side, they're not going to go away. They might not have too much of a choice, of course. There's always that possibility. Zoe plays. Ahoy there. How are you? Tommy Eisenhuth with the first try. What a start from the Dragons. That is not an error on the screen. We are inside the first 2 minutes. And the Dragons are up 4-0. Lomax converts from right beside the posts. And it is a 6-0 lead for the Dragons. What a start. Zach Lomax, unfortunately, for my multi, wasn't the try scorer. That would have been nice. but winning the battle in the air. Comprehensively. What a start for the Dragons. Back underway. The kickoff is deep into the in goal. And de Belin takes the hit up. They'll have their tails up here, the Dragons. Danger signs early for the Raiders. Here's Sewer. Looks for the offload. Decides he's better off going to ground. And he would be correct about that. Now through the hands. They spread it wide. Leilua. Taken just over halfway on the fifth and last. This has been fantastic for the Dragons. Hunt gets the kick away. And it's taken to the back for the Raiders. And they get their first touch of the ball. Now, can the Raiders return serve immediately? Wouldn't that be something? See, this is one of those games. It does have the potential to be a scoreline of like 50 points to 48 or something at the back end of this one. Both sides are probably going to be a little bit prone to giving up, almost, because there's absolutely nothing on the line. So it could be a blowout, or it could be a very, very high-scoring close match. Oh, it almost opens up there for the Raiders, but they come up with the error. A double knock on. The first one there by Sasagi. And the Dragons will have the scrum down around about the halfway line, so good field position again for the home side. And the Raiders, with their first touch, cannot complete the set. Vincent Spears music. I used to like Korn back in the day. It's not really something I listen to anymore. But certainly did used to give them a listen back in the day, big time. Korn and Slipknot. Through the hands now, the Dragons early in the tackle count and almost ghosting through is Suli. A great legs tackle by Timoko brings him down. Eisenhuth in midfield. He only knows one way, and that's straight up the middle. 30 out from the try line. Dragons on the attack. The early kick here. Hunt looking for Lomax. It's a little too heavy. Lomax keeps it in the field of play somehow, and Fangai goes to ground. On tackle one, it was touched by a Raider. Well, everything falling the way of Zach Lomax at the moment. They're 5 out from the line here, the Dragons. Crash ball. They got a set restart there. The Dragons, a couple of meters out from the line. Hunt to Eisenhuth. Eisenhuth wants a double. He gets those legs pumping. It spills the ball, Eisenhuth. He comes up with the error on tackle 3. That is a huge let-off, potentially, in the context of this match. Huge dropped ball. Hillbilly, ahoy! How do I see the Sharks Manly playing out? Yeah, I just think Manly are playing for a home final. Potentially. Probably. Most likely. I just feel like Manly will have a bit more to play for. There's a bit more on the line. Sharks, they will finish 4th no matter what. Results have just fallen that way. They'll be in 4th spot, win or lose. And in those sorts of situations, I think Manly will be pretty keen to do whatever they can to score themselves a home final, you would think. And I just feel they probably have a little bit more to play for than the Sharks, who will probably have one cheeky little eye on next week against the Melbourne Storm. Oh, God. 5th and last here for the Raiders. The kick goes down. It's perfectly placed. It's an awkward bounce for Sloan. But who is back there to save the day? Zach Lomax, who very early in this contest is raising his hand for man of the match. He's got to keep it up, of course. But Lomax has been everywhere and immense to start this game. Oops. Dragons get the penalty for the home side. And a chance now to clear further upfield. Leading 6 points to 0. Game of Mel asks, how do they work out who plays who in the finals? I've never known how they work it out. So, if you number 1 plays number 4, Game of Mel. So in this case, Storm and whoever finishes higher on the table gets the home final. So it'll be Storm versus the Sharks in week 1 of the finals. Panthers versus Roosters. So 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. And then it's 5 versus 8 and 6 versus 7. With 5 and 6 having the home ground advantage in the elimination finals. I've got Dragons winning this one as well. Vincent Spears music. I feel like if they win big, there's still the hint of a chance with a Dolphins Knights draw that they could go through. As from dummy half, Jacob Little fights for the line. He's over, gets the ball down, Jacob Little, and that's a try. And the Dragons extend their lead. A great individual effort there from Jacob Little. And the Raiders have completely come out and fallen off a cliff. Inside this opening 10 minutes, it has been all Dragon. Jacob Little sells the dummy inside to Ben Hunt. Fights his way over the line. The nuggety little nuggety little hooker pushes his way over the line for a try that he really did not have any right to score. And I've got to say, Hillbilly, that the Bulldogs putting 40 or so on the Cowboys is certainly a possibility. Should they decide to go down that avenue. I hope there's no Cowboys supporters in the chat because I'm about to say something very offensive, I think. But the Cowboys are just making up the numbers, really. I mean, they nearly lost to the Sunshine. Basically, the Melbourne Storm ran out their feeder club. They ran out the Sunshine State Falcons the other week, and they still nearly got the job done. Honestly, I think they're just making up the numbers this season, the Cowboys, I'm afraid. Their presence in the 8 is rather pointless. But hey, look, at the end of the day, credit to them for getting there. I mean, you've got to be in it to win it, right? And if they've been good enough to get themselves there, then all power to them. But I can't see them making any threat on anybody else inside that top 8. And certainly not doing any damage to the Panthers or the Storm or the Roosters or the Bulldogs come finals time. Or Manly. 12 points to 0, the successful conversion from Lomax. And the Dragons have got off to a fabulous start here. They are doing exactly what they need to do right now. Let's actually have a look at the table and suss out just what the Dragons need. What do the Dragons need in terms of their fight for the 8? As it opens up again, Sloan in support up the middle. Oh, he dummies to him and goes on his own. Jacob Little with the white line fever. He had Sloan unmarked on the inside. It was going to be a try for one of my multi. But Jacob Little, the ball hog, goes on his own. Now the kick through from Sewer. Is it going to sit up in the line for the Dragons? Jaden Sewer's claiming it. They are on an absolute roll here. It's a demolition job here for the Dragons. It is a try for Jaden Sewer. And we get the tick off the multi anyway in the end. Jaden Sewer scores. I thought Jacob Little had completely balls this up. He had one of the quickest players in the game, Terrell Sloan, unmarked on his inside, but he decides to put the foot down on his own and run away from him rather than trying to link up. He was never going to outpace that Raiders backline. They get the job done in the end anyway, the Dragons. Ben Hunt with the grubber kick through for Sewer. And just some laziness there from Hudson Young. I mean, in fairness, Hudson Young needed to do better there with more urgency to get to that ball. And Sewer plants it down. It's gone up as a try. Try is confirmed. It's a tick off the multi. And the Dragons lead this 16 points to 0 with an absolute gift conversion to come from right beside the post for Lomax. What a start. I told you Fleno would have given them the rev up. And the rev up they've gotten, and the Dragons are responding. The easiest of conversions for Lomax, and it is 18 points to 0. A tick off the multi. Nice and early. That's what we like. It was only one of the combos, though. Like, if you're going to get ticks off the multi, it'd be ideal if it were one of the individual legs. But I'll take it. A tick is a tick. Ains, Stainton, ahoy, mate. As the Raiders get us back underway, looking up at a very dismal-looking scoreboard. Yes, yes, indeed. Let's not forget that Manly can do some damage to that Sharks for and against, which would make the job a little bit easier for the Doggies. That's what I was looking at. I was going to have a look at the ladder and just see. So, at the moment, the Dragons are on 28 points with a horrid for and against. Okay, so the Dragons would need to win this match by about 140 points to 0 to improve their for and against significantly enough to go above the Dolphins. And they would need to win by about 80 or 90 points to leapfrog the Knights on for and against. Now, if the Dragons win, they will go to 30 points and temporarily into 8th spot. So if the Dolphins and the Knights had a draw tomorrow, both teams being on 28 would go to 29 and the Dragons would qualify. So they just have to win. Straight up the middle goes Hudson Young. Fends off Sloan. Slides for the line, Hudson Young, and he's just short. Here come the Raiders. Couple of metres out now, the kick through. Sets up in the end goal. And a try for Danny Levi. They have hit back. Ricky's Green Goblins. I told you, they're not going to go away. He being Ricky, has built up a tenacity and determination in this team. They're not going to go away. And they have hit straight back. A crucial try for the Canberra Raiders. Right under the sticks. Danny Levi, 18 points to 4, is about to become 18-6. Ains, the tips are going quite well. I am very, very proudly on top of the Wasted World of Sports NRL.com tipping contest with 133 points at the moment. Rod Eels is right on my heels, though, with 132 points. And Bryce is right behind on 131. The only three with a realistic chance of winning the competition. But luckily for me, I've got a perfect round going so far with the Storm, the Eels, the Roosters, and I've gone for the Dragons in this one, which is looking good so far. So I've got to say, at the moment, I'm feeling pretty confident of retaining my top spot after this week. That's all right, Gamer Mel. No issue whatsoever. I appreciate you swinging by as frequently as you do, and of course, being a channel member. We can't ignore that. A wasted World of Sports All-Star. 18 points to 6 as Kaeo Sports Weekes puts the conversion over. And that will just stem the momentum a little bit that the Dragons had. I mean, they were on a roll, and it looked like it could easily be 50 or 60 points. A crucial try there for the Raiders. Is that 66% possession in favour of the Dragons, and now clutching the ankle. Claims of a hip drop. Joseph Tarpany, well, he's up and about and he seems just fine. I really don't like this. I really do not like this staying down and playing for the penalty. Well, it's a hip drop against DeBellin. Pretty clear. But I don't like staying down and playing for the penalty. Even if we do end up with the right call, let the match review committee handle it, right? But that was a pretty clear-cut hip drop. How it was missed in the first place, I suppose, I won't know. But then again, I mean, that's the counter-argument to the whole scenario, isn't it? Why was it missed in the first place? You've got a referee and 2 touchies, and nobody saw that? Like, yes, okay, I've got the benefit of the replay, and the replay was from behind, but, I mean, how was that missed in the first place? I don't understand. We can overanalyze these things all we want. I suppose it won't make a world of difference. But what it means is the Raiders go straight back on the attack. And after the early domination of the... nearly called them the bloody Knights again. After the early domination of the Dragons, the Raiders could find themselves only behind a converted try here. 5th and last, 10 out from the line. Fogarty puts the kick through. Played at by DeBellin, and this will be 6 more tackles as Fogarty races back to claim it. No call from the referee, though, as Horsburgh sends the ball out wide. This time it's been knocked on by Hudson Young, so it doesn't matter anyway. But I feel like they clearly missed another one there, the referees. Dragons end up with it. No matter which way you cut it. Dragons ball. 22 minutes remaining in this first half. It was all Dragons to begin with. And the Raiders have just stemmed the flow as this is a loose ball out the back. Bounces kindly for Suli, who does wonders out of the situation. And takes the Dragons outside the 40. Francis Molo now with a big run. Just shy of the halfway line. Eisenhuth's off for a rest. He's had a big start to the game. Leilua out the back to Sloan. Sloan, rather than sending it further out wide, cuts back in field. And that's the 5th and last, just outside the Raiders' 40-metre line. Now just inside DeBellin. Good field position here for the Dragons. Oops, and slipping from dummy half there, Jacob Little puts a little grubber kick through for Sloan. Sloan gets the second kick on it. It's lost forward by the Raiders, and it sits up in the end goal. And King-Togia will score the try. Lyhkan King-Togia scores under the posts, and the Dragons extend their lead. What a mess it was. Jacob Little slips at dummy half on the 5th and last, which allows the Raiders to race up on him, but they raced up too much, and it left a little arc in behind the defensive line, and Little summed it up perfectly. Grubbers in behind the line. Sloan gets boot to ball. Hopawate makes a complete mess of it at the back. And opportunistic on the spot. The Dragons number 6 puts it down for 22 points to 6. Kick to come from right in front. Jacob Little there making the most out of a horror situation. I mean, he slipped a dummy half. The Raiders had a golden opportunity there to sack him, and it would have been a handover starting their set 40 metres out from their own try line. Instead, just the perfect match awareness, the perfect situational read from Jacob Little. And it brings up 6 points. Zach Lomax has had an easy day out with the boot. And it's 24 points to 6. This is amazing. 4 tries for the Dragons. 1 try so far for the Raiders. Every single try has been within 10 metres either side of the goalposts. It has been an easy day out for the goal kickers so far. I don't know that I've ever seen that happen before. Every single try so far has been in that area, in and around the goalposts. As the Raiders get us back underway, 24 points to 6. The Dragons have restored that 3 converted try lead. A great little bit of heads-up play in a horror situation for Jacob Little. Slow play the ball. Lucky to not give away a penalty there. Makes Mossimo J-Max go mighty Canberra Raiders. Whoops, just dropped my bottle. Fangai tries to get on the outside, well defended out there by Timoko. And Sebastian Chris. Sewer takes it up over the halfway line. Here's Big Papa Lihi. Ready to come onto the field. Big Josh. Fifth and last, Hunt from 35 out, puts the kick up, looking for Lomax. It's a little too heavy, and it's a 7-tackle set as Hopawade takes it on the full in the end goal. He just got that one a little wrong, Ben Hunt. And they've spilt the ball on play 1, the Raiders, and DeBellin comes away with it. Support on the outside from Lomax. Lomax puts the kick through. It sets up into his arms, and he's tackled 10 metres out from the line. He's got the Midas touch today, Zach Lomax. Now they're lined up to the left, but Sewer cuts back down the short side. Gets the offload back to Lomax. Lomax has a little dance and has dropped. Still 10 metres out. Little. Out it goes to Couchman. Couchman puts the head down. Settles things a little closer to the post here for the Dragons. Let's play 3. 5 metres out. Hunt. Short ball off the hip to Molo. Molo fights for the line. He's held up and driven backwards. Half a metre out here on play 4. They go left again. They lure. 5th and last. Still on here for the Dragons. Goes back for King. Goes back for the King. Crossfield kick. Lomax comes up with his first mistake of the game. Winning the jump to the ball, but spilling it forward. And the Raiders are let off here. Whew. Everyone take a breath. Hillbilly says it's going to be interesting what Fleno does with Little and Cook next year. Little has been fantastic in the back half of the year. And yes, and Damien Cook, let's be honest, he has gone from State of Origin Kangaroos representative to probably not even in the conversation for representative duties anymore, right? As the Raiders come up with an error on tackle 4, just shy of the halfway line. Matthew Timoko is begging for the captain's challenge, and Joseph Tarpany agrees. The Raiders are challenging the call of knock-on. They feel like there was a cheeky little hand in there. Oh, I don't know that they're going to win. Oh, yeah. That was a cheeky little hand. Naughty boy. And this is going to be a penalty for the Raiders. Well, that was just silly there from the Dragons. It was play 4, completely unnecessary to even have hands on the ball at that point. Francis Molo, I believe it was, with hands in the ruck there. So anyway, Hillbilly, long story short, back to what I was talking about, you would surely have to you'd be bringing Cook in. Surely he comes in as a mentor of sorts. How old is Jacob Little, by the way? Do we have an answer to that? Because that could have a lot to do with it, as well as the Raiders go just short of the line. 5 meters out now. Raiders on the attack. Play 4. Crash ball for Papali'i. Big Josh goes close. But the Dragons defending well. 5th and last. Fogarty out to Timoko. Timoko gets on the outside. Unleashes Xavier Savage. And Xavier Savage dives over in the corner. It's the second tick off our multi. With 15 minutes to go till the halftime break. Another tick off the multi is exactly what we wanted. And as I said, Ricky's Green Goblins, they don't go away. Ricky Stuart has created such a tenacity in this team, and they are not going away. He's 27, Jacob Little. Okay. How old's Damien Cook? How old's Cookie? So Jacob Little, 27, so he still has quite a few years left. Damien Cook is 33. Yeah, okay. So I think, personally, I obviously have no idea. I'm not part of the Dragons' inner sanctum. But I would be assuming that you bring Damien Cook in as some sort of mentor role. Like Damien Cook, clearly at the back end of his career, he would only have 1 or 2 years left at most, you would think. Surely he's completely understanding that he is coming in as a mentorship type of role for Jacob Little, for whoever else is on the roster in that hooker position in the junior grades. Because Damien Cook, whilst he's not in career best form, and you would expect that at the back end of somebody's career, what a wealth of knowledge, right? To bring in and teach the young guys. From the sideline, Kaeo Weekes, it's on target, but it hooks off at the last possible moment, and it remains 24 points to 10. But most importantly for us, 2 ticks of the multi are done and dusted. 2 to go. Lomax, Hunt or Sloan. In 53 minutes, surely at least one of those 3 will score a try. But you're right, Hillbilly. It will be very interesting to see what actually does happen. I mean, that's what I would do. I would have Damien Cook around as a leader, as a mentor. Jacob Little would certainly feel hard done by. But at the same time, I mean, Jacob Little, 27 years old, he's got... Oh, as the Raiders come up with an error on play 1 again. And it sits up for the Dragons. Oh, the Canberra Raiders, they are not doing themselves any favours at all. 20 metres out from the line on 0 tackle. Now the Dragons. The Raiders have just scored points. Ricky Stuart will be pulling his hair out. Up in the coach's box. Big Red, Corey Horsburgh's off and Papali'i's on, but we already knew that. And it's a penalty right out in front for a high tackle. Hudson Young on DeBellin. This is a gift, 2 points if they want it. I don't know why they would. They're leading by 14 points, and another 2 is rather inconsequential. I would tap and go here, and that's exactly what they do, as Hudson Young's on report for that one. And it's the Dragons 5 meters out from the line. Little Out to the King. King to Hunt. Hunt pops it up to Sewer, who slips in the turf. And that stifles any go forward that he had. 10 metres out from the line here on play 2. Hunt to Blake Laurie. Blake Laurie defies the stereotype of the modern day footy player, doesn't he? He's very old school in his build and shape and everything, Blake Laurie. Through the hands now, Leilua offloads to Suli. Suli throws it out the back. Leilua collects the loose ball, throws a loose pass midfield, and there is Little who spills it. And the Raiders dive on it, and that was scrappy from the Dragons. The game has deteriorated somewhat in terms of the handling. Teams pushing passes, coming up with mistakes in contact. A scrappy old affair it has well and truly turned into. But we're enjoying it here. We've got the same game multi to cheer on. As the Dragons lead this 24 points to 10, and there's still 11 minutes to go until the halftime break. 30 out from the line here. The Raiders go down the short side, and the ball ends up with Tyrrell Sloan at the back. And the Raiders just not helping themselves at the moment. Suli up towards the 40-metre line. DeBellin's off for a rest. A good game so far there for Jack DeBellin. And here's Couchman. Backs up over the halfway line on play 4. Laurie in at first receiver for some reason. Now Hunt out to Sloan. Sloan onto Fangai. Fangai to Lomax. Lomax one-on-one with Hopewade, and now Sebastian Chris is there, and they wrangle him over the sideline. Lomax takes offence to it, and a little bit of push and shove and shirt grabbing between Lomax and Hopewade. But it was good defence there from the Raiders. The one-on-one hit, Lomax versus Hopewade. And Hopewade dealt with him quite well. "10 minutes until the halftime break. The Dragons right on top at this stage of things, but that could change very, very quickly. Papali'i takes the first hit up here. Good field position for the Raiders. They're up over halfway, and space opens up for Timoko. Timoko standing in the 3-man tackle. Still going, Timoko. What leg drive. He's a little nuggety Brian To'o style player. Timoko probably with way more pace. Danny Levi takes it inside 10 metres here on play 3. Papali'i drops the shoulder in. Tackle 4. Just a metre short here. The Raiders are 6 again. They get 6 more tackles. Smithies will just set up play 1, and they can't put them on the deck. The Raiders are standing in tackles. Now the crash ball on play 1 has been lost forward. That is a big mistake. Who has come up with that one? Hudson Young. He is having a day to forget. Hudson Young, that is not his first drop ball, but that's probably the biggest one in the context of the game. And let's not forget too, he was off the pace and a little bit lazy, dare I say, getting back to retrieve the loose ball that Jaden Sewer ultimately scored from. He has not had a good day out, Hudson Young. Speaking about, we were talking about Damien Cook earlier. Well, talking about other players who were representative level that won't be anywhere near the conversation this season. Certainly on their back end of season form, Hudson Young. What a fall from grace it's been for a few players this season. 8 minutes to go till the halftime break. 24 points to 10 and a penalty to the Dragons. 30 out from their own line. A nice little piggyback upfield incoming. And the Dragons will start this set on halfway. Remember, we need Lomax, Hunt, or Sloan. Lomax and Hunt or Sloan. And it'll be a nice start to the Saturday with a same-game multi-win. Should that eventuate. 7.5 till the break. Hunt to Sewer. Sewer beats the first tackle. Gets away from another. Takes it to the 20-metre line. On the attack here, the Dragons. Down the short side. Little to Hunt. Inside to Sloan. Sloan gets up, goes again. He's 5 metres out on play 4, and he's copped one high here, Sloan. This will be a penalty, and it is. Penalty. And it's against Hudson Young, whose nightmare of a day continues. Now he's given away penalties on top of everything else. Pressure on the neck there of Tyrrell Sloan. They tap and go, the Dragons. 10 out from the line. Couchman stands in the 3-man tackle. Now they bring him to ground. 5 out from the line, just to the right of the post. They swing it left. Hunt to Laurie. Laurie takes tackle 2. Now they go back right. Little to the King in front of the post. Here's Hunt. Dummies inside, goes outside. Sloan cuts back in field. And that's play 3. The Dragons have lost a little bit of ground, but they're still on the attack. Sewer takes tackle 4. Right in front of the post here. 10 out. Couchman onto the King. Out the back to Leilua. Leilua steps in field, tries to get those big arms free, but it's well defended again by the Raiders. 5th and last now. Hunt with the crossfield kick. No, he dummies. He cuts back in field, puts the grubber kick in, and Weekes is back there for the Raiders to tap it dead. Heads up play there from Benny Hunt, and it's a goal line dropout here from the Raiders. Your Brad Jed, ahoy there, mate. Your Brad Jed says Hudson Young should never have played Origin. He's never been good. Way better second rowers. I think last season Hudson Young was certainly well and truly in the conversation. Was it last season or the year before? God, see, he hasn't done anything for so long, I don't even remember what year I'm talking about. But I do remember he had one really particular standout year where I was more than happy for him at rep level, but that is well and truly gone. There is a long, long list of much better second rowers at the present time, for sure. As Eisenhuth's back on the field for another spell. 20 metres out from the line here, the Dragons. King, dummies inside, goes outside to Sloan. Sloan loves that play out the back. But the Raiders are wise to it now. They've sort of done it 3 or 4 times in a row now, the Dragons, and the Raiders are onto it. Laurie in midfield, just pops the pass up. Back inside goes Suli. Suli bumps off one. Takes it to the 10-metre line for play 4. Just to the left of the post here. Little breaks from dummy half. Gives it to Eisenhuth. Hunt. Flick pass out the back. Hopawade dives on the loose ball, and the Raiders have it. The Dragons, they weren't able to capitalise here and extend their lead. With 4.5 to go to the halftime break. Some crucial goal line defence here from the Raiders. Play 4 now, up to their 40-metre line, and now Smithies takes it beyond halfway. On the 5th and last. Do they try something a little different here, the Raiders? No, it's just a stock standard blindside kick from Fogarty. And setting himself under it is Lomax. And Lomax takes it under no pressure at the back whatsoever. For the Dragons, 24-10. Is looking like it's going to be the halftime score. It's an interesting half of footy because the Dragons, they started red hot. It looked like it could easily have been a blowout, so the Raiders have done extremely well to contain the damage and also get some points of their own. I should imagine that neither side will be particularly happy going into the sheds, but obviously the Dragons would be the happier of the two with a comfortable little lead for themselves. 5th and last here. Hunt in midfield, 40 out from the line, puts it high. The wind's picked it up again, and it's again almost a little too heavy. It's ended up being perfectly placed, and now Lomax is there, and they drag Weekes back towards the in goal, or it's, yes, it is Weekes there. And the Raiders start this set inside their own 10. Tackle 2 already. Two and a half minutes now until the halftime break. Hudson Young is standing out wide, takes on Hunt, bumps him off, but Fangai is there with Laurie to bring him down. Play 4 there for the Raiders, 30 out from their own line. Here's Papali'i. From a standing start, couldn't do too much damage. Fifth and last, Fogarty will kick from well inside his own 40. And it's going to be taken on the full by Sloan. With forward momentum here, Sloan will return it to the Dragons' 40-metre line. And with a full set of 6, with 2 minutes left in this half, they could get another crack at points here, the Dragons. And suddenly it would turn an average half into a really good one. The offload that nobody saw coming. And Tamale's away. And they're going to now take play 2, 40 metres out from the Raiders' line. That was a great kick return in the end. Suli charges into the defensive line. A minute and a half to go in the first half. Play 3. Laurie in midfield to Hunt. Numbers to the right. Sloan to Fangai. Fangai straightens. Takes on Ethan Strange. And Sebastian Chris. And the Raiders double team him and bring him down on the 4th tackle. Sewer heads back towards the post. 5th and last now. 5 metres out in midfield here. Sloan in at first receiver. Grubber kick in behind the line. And Fogarty takes it. And they are just a couple of centimetres inside the field of play. The Raiders. Savage has to reach back for a really poor pass under the circumstances. Well, under any circumstance, it's a poor pass, but especially half a metre out from your own try line. .48 seconds to go till the break. 24 points to 10. And the Raiders, it'll just be one out hit-ups from here. Starling from dummy half. That's the 4th. Still inside their own 30-metre line. Fogarty onto Strange. They're going to have a run here. Ethan Strange takes on Sewer. Well, that was just stupid. Who's going to win that battle? Ethan Strange versus Jaden Sewer. And he's hurt his leg now, Ethan Strange. Well, that's what you get. I mean, look, you'd never want to see anybody injured. I am not in any way meaning to sound happy or positive in any way about an injury. But I'm just saying, with 20 seconds to go till the halftime break, running at one of the biggest men on the field, it was just completely unnecessary. If he's gone and hurt himself here, Ethan Strange, what a completely unnecessary play. Fogarty from inside the 40 puts it down. It sits up for Sloan at the back. And I dare say that Ricky Stuart would be having a thing or two to say about it, as well as the halftime siren sounds. It's 24 points to 10. I've got to say the multi's looking pretty good. Zach Lomax has been absolutely everywhere. I would back him in for a try. At this particular point in time, I'm thinking he is looking pretty likely to score a try at some point in the second half. He's been absolutely everywhere. Ben Hunt and Sloan. Sloan probably looking more likely than Benny Hunt in terms of a try scorer. They're offering me a really embarrassing cash-out offer. Fascinating cash-out offer, that one. Crazy. Half-time here, 24 points to 10. Waste of World of Sports, thanks for being with us. We'll have a quick break and be back for all the second half action right after this on your Super Saturday. Don't forget, of course, coming up, still a couple of games to go as well. We've got the Cowboys and the Bulldogs, and we've got the Panthers versus the Titans. Geez, break out the record books for that Panthers-Titans game, perhaps. We'll have to see. Back for more after this.
Welcome to the wasted world of sports, where the game's just a backdrop for drunken retorts. Rugby league or union, it's all fair play, but it's the banter that steals the show. Hey, 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 hey. Ahoy, we're here to make some noise. It's all about the laughs, the fun, and the joys. Join us in our world, where the banter is prime. Wasted world of sports, we're having a good time. Scrums and tries, they're all well and good, but we're here for the jokes and tank pants last from the kickoff to the final whistles blow. We'll take the two and we're ready to go. Ahoy, we're here to make some noise. It's all about the laughs, the fun, and the joys. Join us in our world, where the banter is prime. Wasted world of sports, we're having a good time. We break down the plays, but it's all in jest. With a laugh and a cheer, we bring out our best. No serious analysis, no expert critiques, just a bunch of mates sharing plenty of drinks. We'll raise a roll, from sideline jokes to post-match tales, all big goofs and their big fails. We're not so serious, and that's our style. With each ahoy, we raise our skies. Ahoy, ahoy, we're here to make some noise. It's all about the laughs, the fun, and the joys. Join us in our world, where the banter is prime. Wasted world of sports, we're having a good time. So come along and join our sporty crew, where the banter's always fresh and the laughs are true. Oh, wasted world of sports, here's to our cheer. We'll see you on the pitch and drink some beer. Yeah!
Alrighty, Wasted Water Sports, ahoy, welcome back. Half-time here, 24 points to 10. The Dragons in the lead over the Raiders. And it's kind of following the script that I expected it to when we were talking last week about Shane Flanagan, that is. Shane Flanagan would not at all be happy with how the Dragons had destiny in their own hands and they let it slip. He would be furious, and I was looking for the bounce back. And the bounce back has been strong this season with all teams, really, when you look at it. So I was expecting another bounce back today from the Dragons. It started very, very well. Jacko Robinson, ahoy, mate. How you doing? I'm going to be trying my absolute best. I failed last week, and what a couple of games I missed out on, by the way. Excuse me. I failed last week at getting myself up at 1 a.m. for the Springboks All Blacks clash, and I missed an absolute cracking contest. I'm not going to make that mistake again, but you watch it be a blowout, honestly. I always miss the close games. It happens in the NRL as well. I'll miss the close games because I just can't get myself up for it. And then the games that I do manage to catch, most of them will end up being blowouts. So watch that happen. I missed the cracking games last week where both the All Blacks and the Springboks went down to the wire, and the Wallabies and Los Pumas went down to the wire. Guaranteed blowouts this week. South Africa to win quite comfortably. No, in all seriousness, I do expect it to be a little bit closer than that. I'm thinking maybe Springboks by 5. Probably leading the whole way, though, to be honest. I imagine the Springboks to lead for a majority of the match. And maybe it's just a try at the end, when I say the end, maybe in the last 10 minutes, a try or a penalty goal, even a drop goal. I'm actually very interested to know. I'm very interested to know. I'll talk more about this in the pre-game, should I get around to actually covering the game this week. But I'm very curious to see if one of the betting agencies that I use actually has an offer for either side opening points to be a drop goal. Now, it goes back quite a few years. We're going back to the Stephen Larkham days, Yanni De Beer days. We are going back a while. Oh, actually, no, there was a period of time after that as well. Matt Giddo was the starting fly half for the Wallabies. And I put the call out to all my mates. I said, the Springboks love droppies. Look for the Springboks to try and get themselves on top early as soon as they get in range. Their opening play, their opening attacking play, as soon as they get in a range, look for a droppy. And what actually happened was the Wallabies took the kickoff and got themselves into South Africa's territory, and bloody Matt Giddo thumped a drop goal over. So the Wallabies stole South Africa's blueprint. But anyway, long story short, I told everybody to jump on board with this first points being drop goal. And luckily, this particular bookmaker was offering first points to be either side to kick a drop goal. You didn't have to specify. So we got the win anyway, even though it was the Wallabies who took the drop goal instead of the Springboks. Anyway, that's my story. Hope you enjoyed it. Half-time here, 24 points to 10. The Dragons are doing the job on the Raiders at the moment, but don't expect for 1 second Ricky's Green Goblins to go away. They're not going to. They will stay in the fight. I can't imagine that this one ends up being a blowout. Even if the Dragons end up winning what we would consider to be comfortably. Ricky has got this team well and truly up for this season. And I don't imagine that they're going to go away anytime soon. They'll stay in the fight here and keep the Dragons battling till the very end. So we still need 2 legs off the multi, but getting 2 down in the first half is pretty good. And I'm pretty happy with the players that we've got left available as well. And I think the bookies are too, because they have offered me a really, really just unsatisfactory cash-out offer at the halftime break. I would have thought, quite frankly, I would have thought on a 4-leg try-scorer multi, at halftime, with 2 legs already successful, 2 legs still to go. Those 2 legs are Zach Lomax, and the other one is Ben Hunt or Tyrrell Sloan. I would have thought that my cash-out offer would not have been less than my original stake, but that's what they've offered me. I can't make heads or tails out of that one. The fact that they have offered me a reduced cash-out offer that is smaller than my original stake when we are halfway there and looking pretty good. Look, I wasn't expecting the cash-out offer to be a bank breaker, but I was expecting it to be a net positive. I can't believe they're offering me a negative cash-out when we're halfway there at halftime. But anyway, I mean, I wasn't going to take it anyway. We're letting it ride. Absolutely letting it ride at this particular point in time. Zach Lomax has been everywhere. He's had a great first half. He just made the one mistake. Outside of that, he's been absolutely everywhere, involved in everything. Setting up tries, winning high ball, keeping miracle balls in the field of play, grubber kicking through for himself, getting the bounce. He has had an immaculate first half, Zach Lomax. So he is actually looking pretty good, I think, to get himself across the try line at some point here in the second 40. Ben Hunt has probably looked less likely out of everybody, but Sloan's popped up everywhere as well. He should have already had a try, Tyrrell Sloan, if Jacob Little threw the pass, but not to worry. $40 minutes left in this one. I've gone for the Dragons in the Waste of World of Sports tipping contest. I'm looking to solidify my lead out on top in that one. Can the Dragons get the job done here in the second 40? We're about to find out. After these commercial breaks, I'm pretty sure that the teams will be back out on the field and ready to roll. They are indeed. Both sides back out. Ready for a big second half. The Dragons getting the job done so far. Will have the kickoff in the second half. And the Dragons do get us underway. Raiders send Big Papa up for the first hit up. And he is picked up and driven into the turf in a big statement tackle from the Dragons. Remember how quick and red hot they started the first half. Can they do a similar thing? Or has Ricky Stuart got his team up for it in the second 40? And will they come storming out of the gates? Play 3, just outside the 30. Good defense again from the Dragons. Keeping the ball alive, though, the Raiders. Here's Starling fighting his way up to halfway, standing in the tackle. I can't help but notice that the Raiders have this ability, certainly against the Dragons this week. I've not really noticed it in other games, but again here, Hudson Young stands in the tackle. They're keeping their feet as Strange puts the kick in. Taken on the full by Sloan. Sloan brings it back to the 10. Runs back towards midfield. And the Raiders complete their first set, but it's the Dragons in possession now. Fangai takes it out to the 20. But yeah, the Raiders, they have this ability to stand in the tackles. And obviously what that does is it gives you the platform for a quick play the ball. And then a quick play the ball obviously gives you that go forward for the next tackle. And then they stand again. Quick play the ball, rinse and repeat. And the Dragons today, as Little goes straight up the middle. Where's his support? He's got Sewer inside. There's Sloan. Off the hip to Tyrrell Sloan. Pops the pass back in field to nobody. And Starling dives on it for the Raiders. Oh, we thought Sloan was in under the posts. And what a start that would have been to the second half for the same game multi. This is what I was talking about, though. Sloan and Lomax are both looking likely. They are both just popping up. In all the right places, and just some desperation defense was all that stopped him there. Now tackle 4 for the Raiders, still inside their own 40. So that's a good run. Timoko gets those legs pumping again and takes it up to halfway for the 5th and last. Fogarty gets the kick away. Taken on the full by Lomax at the back. Lomax is tackled. 12 out from their own try line here, the Dragons, leading 24 points to 10. 3 minutes gone in this second half. Fangai plays it. And now DeBellin. It's not DeBellin, sorry. That is Tamale. Oh, he bobbles the ball. Nearly spills it. Suli on tackle 4. The difference that it makes by holding your feet in the tackle. 5th and last. On halfway, exactly in midfield. It comes to Ben Hunt. Hunt puts the kick up. It holds up in that breeze. And it does look like the Raiders will be playing with a breeze behind their backs in the second half. And they earn a penalty here from the kick chase. Offside from the kick chase. And let's have a look. Oh, they were. They were all offside there. Ben Hunt did not follow through on the kick. That being said, though, you've got to be aware of that. As a kick chaser, you have to be aware of that scenario where the kicker doesn't follow through. And you can't be giving away silly penalties like that. Well, they've done it. The Dragons. They have done it. And now here come the Raiders. A good opportunity here. Good field position. Early in the second half. Sasangi up inside the 40. Down the short side they go. Inside the 30-meter line now. Timoko holds his feet again. Standing in the tackle. Quick play the ball. Rinse and repeat. This is what they've been able to do. Smithies. Dummies inside to Papa. Dummies outside. Goes on his own. Morgan Smithies stands in the tackle. Quick play the ball. 10 meters out from the line. This is incredible. The Dragons' inability to put the Raiders players on the deck. 5th and last now. Inside the 10 meters line. They stay on the short side. Fogarty. Out the back to Weekes. Weekes swivels in the tackle. He's held up and driven backwards for a handover a meter short from the try line. Dragons ball. Well defended. But I'm impressed by this ability of the Raiders players to maintain their footing in the tackles. It's absolutely incredible. I've never seen it happen with such consistency. They've got these players that just it seems unable to be brought to ground by the Dragons, at least. As I said, I've not really noticed it week in, week out. But this ability to just hold their feet, getting quick play the balls away. This is a good set defensively from the Raiders. 5th and last now for the Dragons, 30 meters out from their own try line. will take a big kick here from Ben Hunt. And Benny Hunt into that breeze obliges. It's still a good kick. Hopewade will take it on the full and return it close to the Raiders' own 40-metre line. But that was a good kick in the end, no less, from Ben Hunt. Forcing the Raiders into a little bit of work at the very least. Here's Hudson Young, up over halfway. Play 3, stands in the tackle. This is absolutely incredible. Like, now that I'm noticing it, it's all I can see. Smithies stands in the tackle. Quick play the ball. Tackle 4. Absolutely incredible. They just can't put them on the ground for some reason. Mariota offloads back to Starling. Fogarty, some space out here to the left. Chris gets on the outside, shifts the pass on to Hopewade, and Hopewade will score in the corner for the Raiders. The Raiders strike first in the second half, and it's on the back of what we were just talking about, standing in the tackles. Quick play the ball, leads to front foot ball, rinse and repeat. And on the back of that, they've created space out wide to the left. Hopewade, in his one-on-one battle with Lomax, gets another little W over him and scores in the corner. 24-14. And Ricky's Green Goblins, once again, they are not going away. This is what we were talking about. They will not go away. Even if the Dragons ultimately win this game comfortably, the Canberra Raiders of 2024 will just not go away. They will stay in the fight. Hopewade one-on-one with Lomax. Lomax put on a very good effort, but in the end, not enough. 24 points to 14. And suddenly now, those couple of penalty goals from right in front that they knocked back that we said at the time is inconsequential. Suddenly, those knocked back 2-pointers might have a consequence. As the try is confirmed. And Kaeo Sports Weekes here from the sideline. 4 from 7 tonight. Strikes this one well. Oh, it's on target. And it's over from the sideline. 24-16. 8 points the difference. The Raiders have once again just refused to disappear. They will not stand aside and be whipping boys. The whipping boys I personally expected them to be in season 2024 as they rebuild. They have said no. No, sir. We are not going to be having any of that nonsense. We are the real deal, and we will show you. 24-16. 9 minutes gone in this second half. It's game on. Josh Papali'i is on report for something that's happened in back play. Oh, high contact, is it? Didn't seem that high. Oh, well. Papali'i's on report anyway. Some go forward now for the Raiders. Smithies takes it outside their own 40-metre line, up towards halfway. Starling out to Papali'i. Charges into the defence, and he's up over the halfway line on the 5th and last. Midfield kick here from Fogarty. Straight down the middle it goes. Sloan's under it. Lomax is there. It goes to Lomax. Lomax is met by a wall of green defenders. Offloads. Risky business to Fangai. And Fangai brings it out to the 20. But that could have turned south very quickly for the Dragons. It was a risky offload, to say the least. And now Lomax loses it on play 2. Zach Lomax getting up to play the ball. Loses it. And the Raiders have been gifted a golden opportunity here. Zach Lomax with his second error only of this game. And I've got to say, as a confidence player, maybe now that multi is not looking so good. Scrum down in midfield, 30 metres out. The Raiders, can they go back-to-back with tries here? And they'll be nipping right at the heels of the Dragons. Scrum down, they go left to Sebastian Chris, who has taken 12 out from the line to the left of the posts. Set restart. A 6 again. And the Raiders can go on the attack here. Papali'i takes tackle 2. Standing in the tackle again. I'm sorry to keep banging on about it, but it's just so noticeable. Papali'i stands. They get quick play the ball. Here's Ethan Strange. Gets on the outside. Strange fends off 1, 2. Loses the ball. And the Dragons dive on it. What a let-off. And Ricky Stuart is furious in the coach's box. He is screaming into the walkie-talkie. And I'll leave it up to your imagination as to some of the stuff that he is probably saying. That is a huge let-off, though. The Red Knight 47, what do I mean, stands in the tackle? Well, I mean the Raiders attackers have this just insane ability. And I don't know if it's only against the Dragons, if it's the Dragons' inability to tackle, or what. I've not noticed it, really, to this extent before, but the Raiders, forwards and backs, it doesn't matter, but they're going into the tackle, and a tackle you would expect a player to actually get taken onto the ground. But what the Raiders have this ability to do today is keep their feet, so they're going into contact, they're running into the defense, and the Dragons defenders are unable to put them on the deck. They're not putting them on their backs. The Raiders players are standing, keeping their feet in the tackle, staying on their feet and able to get a quick play the ball away. They're not going to ground. The Dragons' defense, for whatever reason, just cannot put them on the deck. And it's leading to quick play the ball and forward momentum. And that last try that we saw from Hopewade was off the back of 2 such scenarios where the Raiders player was not put on the deck in the tackle, stood, got the quick play the ball away, and they were able to create the overlap out on the left. It's just uncanny the number of times I've seen it today. The Raiders players not going to ground in the tackle. Amazing. I hope that I explained that sufficiently. Play 3 now for the Raiders, who are back in possession. Mark Leishon, ahoy, mate. And again, maintaining his feet in the tackle. And a quick play the ball for Horsburgh. Corey McKenzie, ahoy there. 5th and last for the Raiders now, up inside Dragons territory again. Fogarty gets the kick away, looking for Lomax. Lomax has made a few errors now, back-to-back. Takes this one on the full and surrenders in the tackle. Fogarty is one player who is really going to be able to use that breeze in the second half that the Raiders will have and kick into the corners and just keep the Dragons pinned down this end of the field. And the idea will obviously be no penalties, no mistakes. Just pin them into the corner. Let them make the plays. Let them make the mistakes. The Raiders are only behind by 8 points. That's nothing in modern-day footy. DeBellin takes tackle 5. They're still inside their own 30 here, the Dragons. Hunt will need a big kick here into that breeze. It holds up, and it's taken on the full by Hopewade, and Hopewade returns it 42 metres out from their own try line. What field position this is for the Raiders. Strange in a dummy half to Savage. Savage tries to get on the outside of the King, and it's a penalty to the Raiders. High contact, and this is exactly the game plan. They're doing it to perfection at the moment here, the Raiders. They are playing this second half perfectly. Kick into the corners. Chase in a line. Barrel, the kick receiver. Let them make the plays. Let them make the mistakes. And we'll just kick ourselves back down there. 40 metres out from the Dragons line now on the back of that penalty to start this set. And it's all starting to go a little bit pear-shaped here for the home side. Hudson Young takes it up to the 30-metre line. The second half completion rate tells the story. 15 minutes into this second half, the Dragons are completing at 50%. The Raiders at 90%. That tells the story. That's all you need to know. Trey Mooney takes it to within 10. Couple of tackles up their sleeve. Starling breaks left. Fogarty, short ball to Hudson Young, who spills it, and Sloan breaks away with it. It's Hudson Young coming up with the big error on the goal line again. Not for the first time tonight. Hudson Young, he is not having a good day out. Unfortunately, Zach Lomax has not scored a try yet. But certainly, as part of my same-game multi, cheering him on for the remaining 24 minutes. And here he is, Lomax with the ball. Just goes into contact on play 3. 30 metres out from their own line here, the Dragons. De Bellin fires up and takes another 10 metres straight up the middle. Little pops the ball up, 5th and last. Just inside Raiders territory. Here's Hunt down the short side. Kicks high. Taken on the full at the back by Kaeo Sports Weekes. Weekes runs crossfield. He's lined up by the King. And King brings him down. Now, I'm calling him the King because his name's Lyhkan King-Togia. I'm not calling him the King because I'm comparing him at all to Wally Lewis. Just in case anyone was wondering. It's just easier for me to say King instead of King-Togia. Big tackle here from Ben Hunt. And that has rocked the Raiders backwards. Tackle 4 inside their own 30. The Dragons, they have said enough of this. They're looking to turn the tide here. Fifth and last now on halfway. Oh, jeez. We're suffering a scoreboard freeze, are we? 5th and last, Raiders get the kick away. Again, it's down into that corner, using the breeze. Lomax takes it on the full. Bringing it back for the Dragons. Lomax again. Outside the 20. Sewer puts the head down. Just trying to turn the momentum back here, the Dragons. Trying to get themselves in a position where they can mount some sort of effective attack. Which they're unable to do at the moment in the field position that they've been in. Fifth and last. Just inside Raiders territory. Hunt puts the kick up. Maybe slightly offside here on the kick chase, but it's a good one. Lomax gets through the air and loses it forward. Again, Lomax winning the battle in the air, but can't come away with the ball. Zach Lomax. He started this match so well. But unfortunately, things have certainly not been going well for him here in the second half. He's not started it very well at all. And another mistake there. I still need Lomax and Hunt or Sloan. We've got the rest of the multi done and dusted. Unfortunately, we're running out of time now into the back end of this game. Heading into the last quarter. 24-16. The Dragons have done no damage to the scoreboard yet in the second half. It's been all Raiders using this breeze very effectively. As Sebastian Chris now makes half a break. Maybe the problem, the Red Knight, is that nobody had a chat with Lomax at halftime. Because he had a blinder of a first half. Zach Lomax, for those that saw the first half, Lomax was involved in everything. He was everywhere. He was putting grubber kicks in that were bouncing up for himself. And he's having a shocker in the second half. 5th and last, though, Fogarty. And maybe the problem with everyone left him alone at halftime because he was doing so well. Maybe that's maybe someone should have had a word with him just to keep his head in the game, perhaps. Lomax takes this high ball, though, and the Dragons have it back. You feel like they're just holding on here, the Dragons, though. 8-point lead, 20 minutes to go. It has been all Raiders in this second half. Little goes from dummy half. Slips, the ball spills forward. It'll be 6 more tackles. That was knocked out by a Raider. Where's the call for 6 again? Where's the call for 6 again, ref? The referees lost the plot out there today. 5th and last now for the Dragons. I don't understand how there was no 6 again call. And if it wasn't 6 again, then how the hell was it not a knock on against the Dragons? None of that makes any sense. But anyway, Hopewade takes the kick on the full and brings it back for the Raiders. Joel, ahoy there, mate. Joel says, I hope Toby Couchman finds a way to start next season. What do you reckon, Joel? We were talking about earlier, not you and I, but we and in the chat room, we were having the conversation about what are the Dragons going to do with Jacob Little, who has been outstanding in the back end of this season, with Damien Cook coming in. And Damien Cook has not had one of his better years. I mean, Damien Cook has got the reputation, understandably. Hudson Young goes straight through a big gap, puts the afterburners on and goes for the corner to score. Hudson Young, out of absolutely nowhere, a huge gap opens up. And the Raiders are well and truly back into this now. They are within striking distance, capping off a dominant second half performance. Oh, it just opened up. Ben Hunt and Fangai caught in no man's land, and Hudson Young says, thank you very much. I have had a shocking game, but I will happily take this try. 24-20 with the kick to come. And just like that, the Raiders find themselves in striking distance, well on top with all the momentum. And the Dragons, I was just saying, they look gassed. They look like a team that is just holding on and nothing more. And they're not even holding on anymore. That just opened up way too easily, and the Raiders are finishing all over the top of them. Another sideline conversion for Kaeo Weekes here. He's had some practice. The last 3 have been from this exact spot. And there is plenty of time left. 17 minutes is an eternity in rugby league. As we saw in the grand final last year, 5 minutes is a long time. So what the Raiders could end up doing here with 17 minutes at their disposal. Weekes has had a lot of practice from out there. This one hooks left. He could not quite sum the breeze up there, and it remains 24 points to 20. Jaden Morris says, I'm hoping that the Cows beat the Doggies in the next game. Very, very, very hard to see that happening, to be honest, Jaden. But hey, it's been a funny old game sometimes, isn't it? You never do know for sure. Joel says Little will provide some great energy off the bench next season. Also will be good for Cook not having to play for a full 80 minutes due to his age, which pretty much goes in line with what I was talking about. I suggested that obviously with the age difference, Damien Cook will be viewed as a mentor, a leader. Certainly won't be expected to play the full 80, and he'll be there for the young guys to pick his brain. There's a wealth of knowledge inside that head. Even if Damien Cook is obviously not in career best form, it's a wealth of knowledge to be bringing into the club. And that'll just be golden for guys like Jacob Little and the young hookers down in the lower grades. Tapani takes it up to the 40. Fogarty will kick, looking for a 40-20. He uses that breeze, but the ball pops up, and Lomax takes it. An early kick from Fogarty, taking everyone by surprise, trying to utilize that breeze to get the angle and steal the ball back, steal possession back, essentially, from a 40-20. But he doesn't get the bounce. The Dragons come away with it. And the Dragons, they do look absolutely gassed here. One try will be good enough for our multi to have it returned in the form of a bonus bet. So even if we don't get both remaining legs in the last 15 and a half minutes, I will happily accept just one. Fifth and last, on halfway, Hunt puts it high. Weekes is under it at the back for the Raiders. Runs it out to the 20, gets on the outside, but grasping the shorts is for Taylor Mariner in a desperation tackle. Weekes would have been away and under the post. What a tackle from Fatala Mariner, but look at this field position now for the Raiders. Play 4, 40 metres out from the Dragons line. Fogarty inside the Big Red. Horsburgh. Brisbane Broncos bound. Corey Horsburgh stands in the tackle. Again, they can't put the Graders on the turf. Tarpany at the back to Fogarty. To Strange. Strange runs it to the line. Puts the step on. Tries to get on the outside. Fifth and last. They're 10 metres out here, the Raiders. On the attack again. Fogarty. Crossfield kick. It's going to land inside the 10. It's tapped back. Raiders have got numbers out to the right, but they put the grubber kick through. And Sloan is there to dive on the ball. Ground it for a goal line dropout, but it'll be more pressure and more ball here for the Canberra Raiders, who are finishing this game with the breeze and a wet sail, as they say. Finishing this game really, really strong. And hands on hips. Dragons sucking in the big ones in the end goal. They look absolutely gassed, as I said. Hunt goes short with the restart. And it's taken by DeBellin. Oh, that was critical. Jack DeBellin takes the short dropout. That was so, so crucial. And now Suli. Francis Molo, up to the 40. Dragons up to halfway now. 3 big runs from the big forwards. Jaden Sewer goes up over halfway here on play 4. Eisenhuth in at first receiver to DeBellin. But Taylor Mariner now cuts back in field. Fifth and last. They're 40 metres out from the Raiders line. There's 13 minutes left in this contest. Hunt in midfield, puts it high, looking for a contestable kick. Taken by Savage under no pressure. And the Dragons continue to just hold on and nothing more. The Raiders finishing the stronger. 12 and a half minutes to go. Lomax, Hunt or Sloan, I don't care who it is at this point, as Starling breaks away from dummy half. And the Raiders chew off some more territory. Tapati to Sasangi. Fifth and last, better defensive effort here from the Dragons. Fogarty gets the kick away. It's not a big one, and it's taken on the fall here. Taken on the fall by Fangai, who brings it back. I think it was Tamale, actually. It was the opposite edge. Tamale's taken it. But this is now quality field position for the Dragons, as Francis Molo has gone up a gear in this last few minutes. Hunt at midfield to King. King onto Fatala Mariner, who beats one. Still going for Fatala Mariner. Shrugs off another. Fends off a third. Gives it off to DeBellin. DeBellin pops it up for Sloan. And Sloan loses it on play 3. The Dragons have given possession up again early in the tackle count. It's another incomplete set. And here come the Raiders with 10 minutes to go. And great field position now. Tackle 2, 40 metres out from their own line. They put it through the hands now. Out wide to the right. Here's Timoko. Loses the ball. Has he lost it forward? It's gone backwards. The forward is the call against Timoko. This will be a captain's challenge for sure. I thought for certain that was knocked out by a Dragon. This is a big captain's challenge now. 24-20, 10 minutes to go. A knock-on has been called on halfway. This is either going to be 6 more tackles for the Raiders and potentially a penalty, and it's going to be a penalty Raiders as Fatala Mariner slaps that ball out. 2-on-1 in the tackle. Captain's challenge will be successful, and the Raiders will have the ball here. At the very least, 6 more tackles, but it should be a penalty for a 2-on-1 strip. And here they come, Ricky's Green Goblins, with 10 minutes remaining. Fogarty can put this into touch with the breeze at his back, deep inside Dragons territory. And that was just silly from Fatala Mariner. And Fogarty finds touch, not a lot of distance on it, 35 out from the try line. Smokin' poppin', ahoy mate. Here's Tarpany in midfield. The captain, who signalled that captain's challenge, obviously, being the captain and all. Hudson Young bends off 1. Tackle 2 here for the Raiders. 25 out from the try line. Here's Papali'i. Drives it up the middle. Stands in the tackle. Again, they can't put the Raiders on the deck. Ineffective tackling from the Dragons. Out the back to Fogarty. Fogarty onto Hudson Young, who loses it again. Hudson Young, for the umpteenth time today, drops the ball on the goal line. And the Dragons, what a let-off by Hudson Young again. Their captain's challenging, but they're going to fail at this one. They are failing this captain's challenge because that was Tyrrell Sloan in a tackle attempt. He did not play at the ball. He was simply making a tackle. It's a loose carry from Hudson Young, and this will be unsuccessful challenge every day of the week and twice on Sundays. What a let-off. It was there for the taking for the Raiders. And Hudson Young comes up with another massive error. As I said, not his first today. Not his second, not his third or even fourth. He has made a lot of mistakes today, especially inside that 10-metre line. That is perhaps the biggest of all. 60% second half possession in favour of the Raiders. They have used that breeze, as I said, very effectively. But the Dragons off the hook. Your Brent Jed says Hudson Young had 2 good games in 2019. He's borderline brain dead. Well, I think that might be a little bit harsh, but he certainly has not set the world alight this season. 24-20, the Dragons holding on. 9 minutes to go. And believe me, when I say they are holding on, that is all they're doing. Marley Prime, ahoy there. Francis Molo runs it up to halfway, trips over his own big feet, and rolls a further 10 metres upfield across the halfway line. That was fantastic. Oh, well, whichever way you can get it, I suppose. Take the metres. Fifth and last, and Hunt puts the kick in, taken on the full at the back by Hopewade, who stands in the tackle again. This is amazing. The inability of the Dragons to put the Raiders on the deck consistently in the tackles is just phenomenal. It is such a big talking point to me. I know that I've banged on about it a lot, but geez, it's been so noticeable. Now it opens up for the Raiders. Timoko does not get the ball away. Goes to ground. Looks for the quick play of the ball. He's gone off the mark there, Timoko. Referees let it play on. Well, that was just a big mess. Strange in midfield to Young. Young holds on to the ball this time and goes to ground on play 4. 8 minutes to go. The Raiders 10 metres out from the try line. Fogarty to Tarpany. Tarpany heads crossfield. Links up with Savage. Savage puts the step on, but Suli brings him down. 5th and last. 5 out from the try line. Fogarty with the crossfield kick. Lost. And Eisenhuth comes down with it for the Dragons. Eisenhuth takes the loose ball. And the Dragons continue to just hold on. And as I said, nothing more. Just holding on and absolutely nothing more than that. The Raiders are finishing clearly the stronger of the two teams, which is fascinating, really, because I would have thought for sure that the Dragons would have felt they have more to play for. 5th and last now from inside his own 40. Hunt puts the kick in. Going to be taken on the full at the back by Hopewadi. Raiders have 7 minutes remaining now. The Dragons have not really looked like scoring a try here in this second half. So I think we can safely forget about the multi. It's all about survival now for the Dragons, and Timoko goes on the outside. Well defended at the back by Tamale. But field position is king here for the Raiders. This is play 3. High shot. Potential penalty. Not called. They're 40 metres out from the Dragons line. Horsburgh out the back to Strange. Strange puts the goose step on, and Sebastian Chris loses the ball. Sebastian Chris with the mistake. It's up there with Hudson Young in terms of its painfulness for the Raiders. And Ricky Stuart up in the coach's box. He just took his eyes off the ball. A sneaky little look up at the defensive line there. Sebastian Chris. Oh, that's massive. What a huge, huge mistake with 6 minutes to go. Yes, Marley Prime. I'm sorry I haven't answered you yet. This game is just very, very engaging. We will be doing the remainder of the games tonight. Cowboys, Bulldogs, Panthers, Titans coming up on the Waste of Water Sports after this one. But we've still got 5.5 minutes to get through on this one. King inside to Molo. Molo has had a great back end of this contest. 24-20, the Dragons continue to hold on. Here's King. Takes it out to the 40. 5.5 minutes to go. Fatala Mariner looks to offload. He's got no support runners with him. That's play 4 for the Dragons. Up towards halfway. DeBellin now goes beyond halfway to Hunt. Hunt out the back to Sloan. Infield to Sewer. Sewer goes to ground on play 4. They're inside Raiders territory. Very importantly, DeBellin to Molo. Ben Hunt says, go forward. Just run it forward. Get me in a position where I can do something. And what he does is kick the ball off the outside of his boot. It's a dead set shocker. And Lomax spills it. And the Raiders have it. Oh, it's been a parody of errors from Zach Lomax here in the second half. And now Ben Hunt with a one-on-one steal. And it's play on. Ben Hunt comes up with the big play, making up for a shocking kick on the 5th and last that was dropped by Lomax. Ben Hunt comes up with the one-on-one strip. And with 4.5 minutes to go, this is the best field position all half for the Dragons. DeBellin, 20 metres out from the line, pops it up to Little. Little goes to ground on tackle 3. 15 out. DeBellin in midfield. Steps Papali'i, goes to ground. 5 out from the try line. But Taylor Mariner pokes through. He's just short from the line. 5th and last. They're a metre out here, the Dragons. It's back for Hunt. Or it's King, sorry. Crossfield kick, looking for Lomax. Lomax taps it back. Hunt gets a second kick on it, and it's way too heavy. And it's a 7-tackle set now for the Raiders. Oh, you can't believe it. A 7-tackle set. The worst possible scenario for the Dragons is what's unfolded as Ben Hunt puts the second kick in. And it goes dead, painfully dead. And now here come the Raiders with 3.5 minutes remaining. A 7-tackle set to get themselves right back up the other end. And they're over halfway on play 2 as Timoko stands in the tackle, dragging 3 defenders with him. They're 40 metres out from the try line now. Starling catches them napping. It'll be 6 more tackles. Surely. No. Play 3. They're on the attack, though, the Raiders. 3 minutes remain. Strange to Hudson Young. Down this left-hand edge they go. Out the back for Weekes. And Weekes is wrapped up by Ben Hunt. The Dragons look absolutely gassed. They are out on their feet. Tarpany in midfield. Pops it back to Big Papa. 5th and last. 5 metres out. Right in front of the post. They go right. Fogarty to Big Red. Corey Horsburgh, who puts the kick through. It sits up for himself. Big Red scores a miracle try with 2.5 minutes to go. The conversion will win it for the Raiders. Corey Horsburgh has come up, scoring a try off the worst grubber kick you will ever see in your existence, and it has somehow paid off for him. You can't believe what you've just witnessed. Corey Horsburgh, the worst kick ever. And it deflects off for Taylor Mariner, back to Big Red. And he scores the try, potentially the match-winning try. Well, what a stroke of luck. Talk about more arse than class. There is the living definition of more arse than class right there. The worst grubber kick you'll ever see in your existence. Into the arms of Big Red, who scores potentially the match-winning try. For Ricky's Green Goblins, this is unbelievable. It's 24 all. And Kaeo Weekes has the conversion attempt to put the Raiders in the lead. The Dragons have had the single worst second half I've probably seen any team put forward in season 2024. After they had this game well and truly in control, 24 points to 10 it was at halftime, and it is about to be 26-24 if Kaeo Weekes can put this one over, kicking at 50% today. 22 metres out, about 15 to the right of the uprights. Kaeo Weekes, what a big kick this is. To take the lead for the first time tonight, he puts it right down the middle. And the Raiders lead 26-24 with less than 2 minutes remaining. Out of absolutely nowhere, 24-10 it was at the halftime break. And I did say, Ricky's Green Goblins, they are not going to go away. And not go away. Talk about it. With 2 minutes remaining, they take the lead. 26-24. Ben Hunt will surely go short here from the restart. They do. It pulls up in the breeze, so it's very contestable. It's been knocked back by the Raiders, and the Raiders have the ball with 1.5 minutes to go. The short restart has not worked out. Tarpany. The Dragons might have 1 or 2 miracle plays if they're lucky. The Raiders just have to hold this ball now. 1:10 to go. 2 points the difference. Shane Flanagan cannot believe it. Corey Horsburgh, the miracle try. 1 minute left in this contest. 2 tackles left for the Raiders. They will just go to ground on the 5th. They won't even risk a kick here, you wouldn't think. And the Dragons will have 2 or 3 plays. Tarpany takes it to the deck. Inside the 20. 40 seconds to go. The Dragons have got to go 80 metres upfield to try and pinch this one. 39 seconds and 80 metres for the Dragons. DeBellin takes play 1, 20 metres out from their own line. They've got to try something here. King, out it goes to Suli. Suli taken down on play 2, 20 seconds left. How exactly this game has gone so far south for the Dragons. for Mariner down the short side. Play 4. They're going to set themselves up for a 2-point drop goal here, but it is into the breeze. Lomax, it's deflected off the Raiders, and that's the Raiders with the ball and the victory. Savage just needs to go to ground. He's kicked it. Why has he kicked it? Well, luckily he's kicked it into touch, but that was risky. Just go to ground. Jeez, mate, just drop to the deck and take the tackle. Don't even risk kicking the ball. And we've got a captain's challenge here because why not? The Dragons, I don't even know if the Dragons know what they're challenging. I don't know if the Dragons even know what they're challenging here, but their captain's challenging in hope. I can't even tell you what this captain's challenge is for. Markers not square. Well, they were. I'm sorry to tell you. Don't really know what the challenge was for there. It was obviously a challenge that was 110% about hope, more than anything else. But I'm looking at Xavier Savage here, and I'm having words with him. Yes, he punted the ball into the grandstand, but geez, you just go to ground there. You just drop to ground and take the tackle, surely. 24 points to 10 at halftime, and the Raiders have played the second half to absolute perfection. They utilised the breeze. They utilised Fogarty's kicking game, and they just pinned the Dragons down in the corners and let them make mistakes. It was everything that we discussed at the halftime break came to fruition. And the Dragons, boy, they had at one point destiny in their own hands. They were going to play finals. All they had to do was keep winning. And then they lost the other week. They've lost today. So it wouldn't have really mattered anyway. But the Dragons, they will be thinking about what could have been for season 2024. Corey Horsburgh with the miracle of all miracles. You'll never see a more arsey try than that. Big red Corey Horsburgh, the Brisbane Broncos bound Corey Horsburgh. Mind you, I say Brisbane Broncos bound Corey Horsburgh, but geez, after that, Ricky Stuart might sign him up for life. He's got the Midas touch. Big red. And then the conversion from Kaeo Weekes. What a big kick that was. It'll be interesting to see the stats, actually. I'm curious because the Raiders this year, it's been phenomenal. The number of games. Look, I don't think that this has happened here today, but the number of games that the Raiders have won this year when they've been outscored by the opposition. Yeah, not to worry. They scored 5 tries to the Dragons 4. I was just curious because the Raiders have won a lot of games tonight. The Raiders have won a lot of games this year when the opposition has actually scored more tries than them. It's just been goals that have let the opposition down. But it's actually been their own goal kicking. They should have won more comfortably, the Raiders, had they put their own goals over. Wow, 24 points to 10 at half-time in favour of the Dragons. 26-24 at full-time in favour of the Raiders. That tenacity wins through again in the end, and a little bit of arse-than-class moment for Corey Horsburgh, scoring the match winner with 2.5 minutes to go. The absolute arsiest try you'll ever see in your life. But they all count, don't they? At the end of the day, 4 points is 4 points. It doesn't matter how you come up with it. And they've pulled off another one, the Raiders. All right, Wasted World of Sports, thank you so much for your company on this one. It was a little bit of a nothing burger of a game, so I appreciate you spending your time with me here on the Wasted World of Sports. This completely meaningless game in the context of the top 8 and the season. And it was a lot of fun, though. I'm so glad that we did it. I am so glad that we covered this game. That was a lot of fun. Unbelievable finish. All right, Wasted World of Sports. I'm going to go set up for the doubleheader coming up. Cowboys, Bulldogs, Panthers, Titans, right here on the Wasted Water Sports. And yeah, I'll catch you for those two games should you decide to stick around and come and join me. So I'll be setting up a new stream for it in about 20 minutes, well, about half an hour, 20, 25 minutes, thereabouts. We'll be right back here on the Wasted Water Sports. Bulldogs, Cowboys, Panthers, Titans. Catch you soon. Until then, cheers, my friends.